Obviously, this is August. Welcome to August. We have district meetings as usual happening this month. First ones is on today. We're actually going to be down in the Mankato area for District 2 district meeting. And looking forward to that. Thursday is District 1, and that's it for this week. And then we start out with 3, 4, and 7, I believe, next week. So please check the MAT website if you haven't already. Please register. We want as many people as we can to be there. We only have one meeting that is fully virtual. That is District 11 up in Reno Wells District. That will be virtual. I know District 10, which is Jim Fisher's district, his will be hybrid. And so you can either view that via, Steve is coming on. You can either view that via internet or Zoom, or you can come in person. And we're going to be there live, and so we love it if you guys could be there live as well. And but we understand if you can't. We just want you to be there. Annual conference, of course, is next October 14th to 15th. We have a great schedule lined up. We have 12 different breakout sessions. We have and it's going to be education galore. And so we want you to come. Want you to be ready. Want you to be filled with as much knowledge as we can pump into your brain, and we'll feel empty, but that's okay. We'll refill later on and re-energize ourselves. But we want you to be as filled and energized as possible once we leave that place. We have Braver Angels, which is a fantastic organization. They're going to be our keynote on Friday. Their organization deals with political speech, how to talk to people who think differently than you. And basically, it's how red can talk to blue and blue can talk to red. And we can have differences of opinion, but yet we can still respect the person and the fact that they have an opinion, even if it does differ from you. No different than if you have different sport teams that you root for. We still want to be able to have cordial communication with each other and civil communication with each other. That's how we get better. That's how we improve. And we definitely want to encourage that. So they're going to be there. And like I said, I'm still looking forward to that. We will have a banquet food on Friday night. And we'll also have door prizes throughout the evening, and also at breakfast during the business meeting on Saturday. There will be a breakfast, continental breakfast. I don't have specifics. I think it's more than just bagels and rolls. I think there's something to do with the chicken in there too. And so come on, be prepared, get hungry, and we want to fill you up that way as well. But we do have entertainment also Friday night. So please register. There should be a form online. There will be a form whenever the insider gets out to you. We've had a little bit of a delay for our latest edition of the magazine, but that will be out to you hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But there will be a one-page registration form in the middle of that magazine, so you can go ahead and fill that out too if you'd like. Bring your spouse if you want to as well. And there is an outing for spouses. I believe it's a wine tour. It's up in the St. Cloud area, and it's not for you officers. You officers are going to go to class. You need to learn something. And but for your spouses, they're going to have fun going on a wine tour. There's lunch going to be provided as well with that. So please check that out. Again, we'd love to see your spouses there too. Next, I have Four Corners training is going to be coming up in September. I just checked I know we put out notices on that via newsletter. It'll be in this edition of the magazine as well. But we also go to class. Yes, Pat. No, Pat, you are the officer. You need to go to class. I'm sorry. And appreciate the comment. But so we'll be clerk training, and I think it's just clerk training right now on no, maybe it's treasurer. I think there's some CTAS in there too. But Board of Equalization training is going to be on that. Lori is going to be spearheading that. I believe she has 5 or 6 different venues she's going to be going to, and she is going to be reaching the actual Four Corners this time. People who may be not as well served as they otherwise should be with broadband. So we're going to try and meet some areas and show you some videos and get you registered for that if that's what you want to do. So go ahead and check that out online if you can. There will be a couple of webinars coming from MnDOT on August 9th, 25th, and September 7th, dealing with active transportation program. And so please, again, it's on our website. It should be on the front page under special events, training events, I believe. And go ahead and check it out, register it for it, and just try and give you some ideas of how to spend. I believe, Graham, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's $3 million that is available for active transportation.
5, actually.
There you go. Hey, it already upped. I love it. So and there will be some of those monies that are set aside strictly for, or specifically for townships. And this is not for roads. This is in between. This is how to get it around on bike paths, things of that nature, make it more family friendly, that type of thing. Again, Graham, correct me if I'm wrong on that. So, but we do want to find out. You'll find out more about that on the webinar as well. So please go ahead and check that out. One other note I have, just no legislative session for this year. I think I already mentioned that. Not that we know of yet. Primaries are next Tuesday. We're hoping that after the primary is over, that the Senate and the House may get back and say, hey, we need to get this done. They did it back in 2020, where they came back after primary and did a bonding bill in October of 2020. So we're hoping that history repeats itself. Usually it doesn't repeat, it rhymes, but needless to say, if we can get something done, we can look at possibly getting that auto parts and repair sales tax into our coffers starting in 2023, if they can get that passed. So, and we are looking at 6%, if you didn't know that, which would equate to about $18.8 million over and above the gas tax, which we currently get, which is this year was about $51 million in total. But we're not going to stop there. Just so you know, especially if they don't pass the binding bill, we are going to go back next year and go back for more. As you all know, we've had tremendous inflation this year alone. We're at what, 8.2%, 8.5%, somewhere in that range. Our costs are going up too, as townships, even as an association, our costs are going up. But we need to be able to account for that somehow, some way. And state funding is a great way. We've been underfunded for so long. We need to get more funding. We are going to go after 15% of the auto parts and repair sales tax next year, which will equate to over $40 million. And if you recall in Senator Howe's bill this year, he was going after 12%, and which would have been $37.5 million for this first year based on 2021 numbers. And so we think 15% is very doable. It's something that we can fully support. And what that also would do, and of course that would grow over time, but what that will also do is get us closer to what I believe is a more equitable amount, which is closer to $100 million in total with gas tax and this auto parts and repair sales tax that would be dedicated for townships. That's going to get us on the path to where we need to be, where we can actually fund the roads that we need to fund. And that brings me to my last point. And I'll be talking about this during the district meetings as well, but I need to get pictures. I need to get pictures of your worst roads. And because I believe that this is going to really really bring it home to our legislators to show them what need there is out in our townships. And so I don't want you to blow up the roads on purpose and then take pictures and say, hey, my road is really bad, Pat. I know I'm looking at you. But I'm just kidding, of course. But those roads that are most troubling for you, that you've had issues with, I want you to take pictures of those, send those in, let me know what township it is, when you took it, that type of thing, like the stretch of road, what you think the cost of the repair is going to be for those roads. That would be very helpful. And I want to coordinate those. And if nothing else, I'd like to be able to try and get some legislators out to some townships. I mean, it's going to be closer to urban townships because that's where most of them are. But I want to be able to show them some of the things that we're up against, and again, to really bring it home for them. So that's all I have. Steve, I'm going to pass it off to you if you have anything. And I think we have some comments I have not got to.
Good morning. I don't have much this morning. We've been kind of getting ready for district meetings and running around and getting ready for the education we're going to do for that. So there's really not a lot. I guess I had one thing that I learned yesterday. This is in the open meeting law, and it's one that I have never come across. I have probably read it, but never applied it to a township. But the question was, can a town close a meeting to discuss security issues? And my initial thought was, well, I don't think so. I don't think there's anything in there. But as I went back, there is a provision in there. If for any reason your township has some kind of security issue, this could be building security, who has access, what are the procedures for how you handle these kind of things. There's a section of the open meeting law that says the board may exclude the public from a meeting to receive information and discuss how it may go about guarding its security, but only if the discussion, that part of it, disclosing it, would undermine the security effect. So if you have some reason to think that some element of your security plan or something where you hide the hide a key, the hidden rock, okay, we shouldn't put this out in the open meeting, perhaps, that would undermine security, go ahead and close the meeting. That's a silly example, although I would bet a township has one of those somewhere with 1,800 townships. So, but that is there for you. And it is one we have not come across before. So, the questions that come in, sometimes we learn something too in answering them. So that's all I have right now. Graham, is there anything you want to add?
Morning, everyone. So in terms of open meeting law, no, not particularly, but I do have just a quick remark. Of course, we're preparing for the district meeting, so nothing particularly lengthy here, but figured since I had been getting quite a few questions about the compatibility of offices, I'd just say a few words about that so folks could know a little bit about this as a subject. Public offices are public trusts for the benefit of the public, and the same person may not hold two offices that are not compatible. This is a topic that's often confused with conflict of interest, but I think it's meaningfully distinct. Essentially, the idea is that if you are a person who is a policymaker, if you have the right to make decisions, you can't be the fox guarding your own henhouse. You can't be your own boss. So, for example, some of the classic cases of incompatible offices, you can't be both a township officer and a county commissioner. You can't be both a park district commissioner and a township officer. Another one that the one that has come up in the questions that I've been getting the last couple of times, we don't actually have confirmation of this from the Court of Appeals or from the Minnesota Supreme Court, but at least as far as the Minnesota Attorney General is concerned, you almost certainly can't be a fire chief and a township officer, because of course you'd be deciding on your own budget, you'd be deciding on your own discipline. So it's just an odd little area of law. Figured I'd give folks a heads up that this is a thing that exists, and yeah, anybody have any questions about that? All right, well, that's all I had.
Appreciate that, Graham. I do see in the comments, I did answer a couple of questions that were in here, one being pill payments. That will be on our radar this year or next year. Just looking to see if there's any traction in that has been brought up. But Mary, I do appreciate you mentioning that. Thank you. The other one is, Pat, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned this before you graded the roads, but but then grading is also, as you know, normal maintenance. We're looking at those roads that are troublesome. We all have them. I know I have it. 250th Street is a nightmare for us. And so we do definitely want to have some pictures of that and just show the troubles that we're having with it. Can anybody attend the LBAE? Yes, any officer, please check the website. We will need you to register. We are looking at about a half-day event. Last time I talked to Lori, she's on vacation this week, but that's what she had mentioned as doing, so that so it won't be like a lunch thing provided. It'll be, I think the LBAE video is like an hour long, maybe an hour and a half. Then there'll be some a little bit of training after that. So she's guessing 3 to 4 hours, and so it won't be as much for you to attend either. We are hoping to have some more training here in the office as well, and I won't say anything to that specifically. I'll leave that up to Lori because I don't want to speak out of turn and have her rolled over by the bus here. Is there a draft resolution on auto parts tax roads that we can use at the regional meetings? Not yet. And the reason that we don't have it yet is because we don't have the new legislators in place and we don't have a new bill yet. Because we will have to jacket it for next year. So once we get all that done, and as soon as we can, we are going to roll that out to all of you. So your county units, we had a tremendous response from our county units, and I so appreciate it, guys. And I seriously do. I can't be any more sincere of that. And we even had it where the county units didn't want to do it at that time because they felt awkward with the county commissioners there because of the road reversion resolution we had in that too. That townships took it upon themselves and just did it individually, and which is fine. I sent those out to the legislators, and but now a lot of those legislators who received those now will not be in office next year. And plus, we also want to have it renewed for every session. It always just speaks more volume. But the other thing I tell you, what's even more impactful, and I'm going to be stressing this at the district meeting. I have been ever since I started 16 months ago, and I'll stress again at the annual conference. We need you guys to contact your legislators. I'll be playing a video. I was hoping to actually do it today, but I don't think I'll be able to. I gotta figure out Zoom a little bit better so I can do these things more easily. But you're gonna hear right from the legislators' mouths that they're asking you to call them and they're asking you how to lobby them. And lobby is, I know that can be an intimidating word for some people. Lobby is just another word for just talking and trying to gain influence, but by talking and explaining what your situation is. That's what the pictures are going to do. The pictures are going to lobby people. They're going to lobby the legislators to show what kind of situation that you're in. And I guarantee you that when, good case in point, when we talked about annexation and we had 2 informal hearings one in the Senate, one in the House this year, great meetings, by the way. I'll be bringing that up at the district meeting as well. So a lot of this is going to be repeat for you. So there's no excuse not to go. But we had tremendous response from our legislators when Steve and I and Shep, brought up our part of annexation and why we need annexation reform, why it's not working for us. The league and the coalition, they poo-poo it. Say, no, there's not much there, but yet they're fighting tooth and nail not to give up this power. And so there's reason for that. So what happens is that so we contact these legislators. They're showing empathy for our cause, and they're being vocal about that, and they're saying, yeah, it's obvious cities have all the power, and it's true. They're just stating the obvious. Cities obviously don't like that, and so they're mobilizing their force, their mayors, their council people, their city administrators. I know we don't have admin people, but they're all making phone calls. I know that because I'm getting calls from the legislators and saying, hey, I just got a call from Albert Lee, I got a call from Mankato, Rochester, whatever. These guys are calling me, telling me to kill this bill and to kill any thought of a legislative work group. And that's what Shep and Steve and I were after this year, is to get it over the interim, which is now in between sessions, is to have a legislative work group where actual legislators would get together with the cities, with the townships, and we collaborate, trying to find out a solution to this issue that's been ongoing for the last 30 years. And it has been that long. 1992 is when they changed that bill. And there have been other changes since then, but 92 was the big year. And we're trying to get it back so that we can go back to our grassroots, which is what our fundamental philosophy of township government is. And it goes back to the vote. It goes back to the people. It goes back to landowner rights. That's what we are fighting for. And the legislators get it. But the problem is that they're getting so much pressure. We're all elected officials. Most of us are. And so I know some are appointed. And but most of us are elected officials. We understand that in order for us to stay where we are, and not that we're trying to cling on to power, we know how much power we have in townships, let's be honest. But we also know that we can have influence, we can have an impact. We're doing good for our people, for our townships, and we want to continue doing that. And but to have those conversations when you talk to one of your neighbors, which is a constituent of yours, and they're telling you about a problem that they have, you take heed to that. You listen because it's important to you, because it's one of your constituents and it's a friend. That's what we have to be to our legislators. They're all nice people. They do want to talk to us. They're asking us to talk to them. Send an email. You don't have to call them if you don't want to. Send them a text. A couple of them gave out their phone numbers to us, so we could text them. But send an email. But they like the personalized emails and not the canned emails. There's a time and place for canned emails, especially if you don't want to do anything else. You can quick get the notice out there, get the topic matter out there to the legislators, and it does have some effect. The bigger effect is when you actually have a relationship and the legislators say, hey, Pat, how you doing? What can I help you with? And they know you, and they're going to take that time, the 2 minutes to read your email or 5 minutes to listen to your conversation and then go on their day. But at least you planted that seed. That's what we need to do. You don't need to convince them right then and there, but it's the overall cumulative effect of us continuing talking to our legislators. That's where we're going to have the impact. That's where we're going to move that mountain, and we can actually get to where we want to get to. That's all I have. I'm off my soapbox. Any other questions that you guys have? LBA training will be held where? Pat, you want to look at the on the website? Like I said, I hope it's on there. If it's not, it will be on there as far as the different locations. And then, but it'll be one that's served by internet because everything is on video. It's via internet that way. And but so we'll bring you all to one different place in each of those regions. I know one is way up in the northwest, right by the border. One's up in St. Louis County, I believe. And then down in the far corners in the south and southeast and southwest as well. So please go ahead and check that out. We'd love to help you out with that. And any other topics that you guys have. If there's a pressing topic, legal, training wise, just with the association or whatever, please give me a call. You have my email address. You have all of our email addresses. It's in the insider. It's on the website. Or give us a call. We're just like your legislator. We want to talk to you as well. And but you can't vote for us. And but we do want to hear from you. It's very important for us to hear from you. And with that, any other questions that you guys may have? Whoops. What do you do about wetlands delineation? I tell you what, I'm going to pass that on to either Steve or Graham.
You mean what's declared as a wetland?
I have some property and it's got, my husband wants to put in a road so we can get back to the back part of the property. But we talked to somebody from the wetlands department of the county or whatever it is, or the state. And they said, well, we have to do a delineation and then you have to buy some wetland credits and replace all the wetlands that you're going to displace. And my husband says, why can't we just go over the top of it? And they're like, no, you can't do that. We have to go through this and the DNR and the Army Corps of Engineers and all this other stuff. And so I'm just curious about how much this little piece of property is going to end up costing me in the end, so that I can get a road back to put a little cabin back there.
This one sounds like not a township related issue, right?
Well, it's in the township.
Sure, but lots of things are in the township.
You asked about
That's not one I can
anything.
answer, but it sounds like delineation means where are the wetlands, where do they exist? And that's how you're going to have to find out what credit you're going to have to buy to be able to offset. So.
All right. I figured, well, talk to you guys. So maybe you know something I didn't.
Sometimes we know and we can't give answers because we're kind of limited in giving stuff to the townships. So.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Jeff, you're on mute.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate you bringing that up, Pat. Yeah, if we can answer your question, we definitely will. And but please never hesitate to ask us a question. We'll let you know if we can answer it or not. But anything else that we can do for you? Hearing none, I bid you all adieu. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks. And also at the district meetings. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.